Hello everybody and welcome to another in our Fireside Singalong series. Welcome to everybody from Rising Voices Choir and anybody else who's joining us. We have a Fireside Singalong with a bit of a difference this week because this week we are celebrating Bloomsday. And Bloomsday is the day on which James Joyce, one of our most famous writers, chose to set his most famous novel, which is known as Ulysses. And now what a lot of people maybe don't realise about James Joyce is that as well as being a writer, he was actually a very accomplished singer. And he grew up surrounded by music, and his house would always have sing-alongs, a bit like the one that we're going to have here today. And it was part of the Dublin tradition to have a holy in the house, and everybody did their party piece and whatever. So his books are full of references to songs. He wrote very few himself, but the works are full of songs, and an awful lot of them you will know. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to base our sing-along around songs that are associated with the works of James Joyce. Now, we have two very special guests today. I'd like to introduce them to you because we have Leopold Bloom, who is the hero of the novel Ulysses, and his lovely wife Molly Bloom, who features very much in the novel. And Molly was kind of modelled on James Joyce's own wife Nora. So without further ado, we're going to kick off with one of the songs very much associated with James Joyce, a song that he would have sung himself and one he would have heard his parents singing. And this one features in one of the stories in Dubliners, a book of his short stories, and it's called I Dreamt I Dwelt in Marble Halls. So raise the roofs, sing along with us, and here we go.
Suitors sought my
Now, the next song we have on the list is it's an old music hall song, and James Joyce liked this one so much that he actually called one of his novels after it. Okay, and he had much wordplay on the idea of Finnegans Wake in the novel, which is also called Finnegans Wake. So, so here we go. So let's pretend we're at a real old Dublin hoolie, and we're going to stamp our feet and clap our hands, and we're going to sing along with this one. Okay. Tim Finnegan lived in Watling Street, a gentleman Irish mighty odd. He had a brogue both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hand. But Tim had a sort of a tippling way, with the love of the liquor poor Tim was born. And to help him on his way each day, he'd a drop in the breaker every morn. Work from the dollar, dance your partner around the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. One morning Tim was rather full, his head felt heavy and it made him shake. He fell from a ladder and he broke his skull, and they carried him home, his corpse to wake. They rolled him up in a nice clean sheet and laid him out upon a bed, with a bottle of whiskey at his head and a bottle of porter at his head. Work for the law, now dance to your partner round the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. His friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for punch. First she brought in tea and cake, then pipes to get back a want whiskey punch. Oh, Biddy O'Brien began to cry. Such a nice clean corpse did you ever see? Or a Tim of Ordine, why did you die? When you held your gob, says Paddy McGee. Work for the law, now dance to your partner round the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. And Maggie O'Connor took up the job. Oh, Biddy, so she'd your rob, I'm sure. And Biddy gave her a belt and a gob and left her sprawling on the floor. Then the war did soon engage. It was woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and around when function soon began. Work for the law, now dance to your partner round the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. Now Mickey Maloney ducked his head when a bucket of whiskey flew at him. It missed him falling on the bed, the liquor spattered over Tim. Bedad he revives, now see how he rises. Timothy rising from the bed, saying, fling your whiskey round like blazes. Thunder and Jace, do you think we're dead? Work for the land, now dance to your partner round the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. Work for the land, now dance to your partner round the floor, your trotters shake. Wasn't it the truth I told you? Lots of fun at Finnegans Wake. Okay, yeah, so that was a nice lively one. We're going to go to a sad one now. The Joyce family in general, but James and his parents were very fond of the music of Thomas Moore. And I know you all would have learned some of Thomas Moore's melodies when you were at school, including possibly this one. But this one is quite sad. It's somebody looking back on their life. The really sad story about this in James Joyce's life was they were a family who started off very rich and they ended up being very poor. And by the time they got to be very poor, they were living in St. Peter's Road in Phibsborough, and they were about to be evicted again from their house. And James's parents had gone to look for new accommodation. So James came home and he found his brothers and sisters sitting around the kitchen table, and they were drinking tea out of jam jars. And they sang this song together. It was one they were in the habit of singing this one in the evening. And I always thought it was a very sad moment in the book, Portrait of the Artist. So, so please join in. I'm sure you know this one. Oft in the stilly night one who treads alone some banquet hall deserted, whose lights are fled, whose garlands dead, and all but he departed. Thus in the stilly night, their slumber's chain hath bound me. Sad memory brings the light of other days around me. Okay, if you were to make a book, and somebody did, of all of the songs that occur or are mentioned in James Joyce's novels and short stories, the book would be about the size of a couple of telephone directories. And he had all sorts of songs. He had songs from the operas, songs from Percy French, songs from old rebel songs, you name it, he had them. Now this song is mentioned in one of the chapters of Ulysses, and it's called The Boys of Wexford. So it has a nice rousing chorus, so again, let's hear you raise the roof. In comes the captain's daughter, the captain of the yeoes, saying, brave united man, we'll ne'er again be foes. £1,000 I'll give to you, and fly from home with me, and dress myself in man's attire, and fight for liberty. We are the boys of Wexford, who fought with heart and hand, to burst in twain the calling chain, and free our native land. I want no gold, my maiden fair, to fly from home with thee. Your shining eyes will be my prize, rose or gold to thee. I want no gold to serve my arm, to do a true man's part. To free my land I gladly give the red drops from my heart. We are the boys of Wexford, who fought with heart and hand, to burst in twain the galling chain, and free our native land. We are the boys of Wexford, who fought with heart and hand, to burst in twain the galling chain, and free our native land. So we're going to ask Leopold Bloom now to grace us with a song. James Joyce had great respect for the work of many other writers. He had a very special relationship with Henrik Ibsen from Norway, so much so that he actually learned Norwegian so he could correspond with him. But one of our Irish writers he had a great time for was the poet W.B. Yeats. And this next song is a love poem by W.B. Yeats to the love of his life and his muse, Maud Gon MacBride. And this song was a favourite of Joyce's own to sing, so he would sing this at parties. So we're going to ask Leopold maybe to give us this today. And again, I know you probably learned this one at school, so.
Down by the Sally love and I did meet. She passed the sunny gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as the leaves grow on the tree. Oh, but I was young and foolish, with her would not agree. In a field down by the river, my love and I did stand, and on my leaning shoulder she laid her really right hand. She bid me take life easy as the grass grows on the weirs. Oh, but I was young and foolish, and now I am full of tears. Down by the sunny gardens, my love and I did meet. She passed the sunny garden with little snow white feet.
Okay. Now, particularly in Finnegans Wake, there were music references on every page, almost in every sentence, and a contemporary of Joyce's would have been Peadar Kearney, who's best known for writing our national anthem. Although I want to put in a word for the person who wrote the tune to the national anthem, because nobody ever hears of him. And his name was Patrick Heaney, and he died penniless, the poor man. And nobody ever remembers him. So that's just a little piece of useless information for today. But Peadar Kearney wrote many songs, and one of them was it was called The Tricoloured Ribbon, and it was based on an old English folk song, which the chorus of which was "All around my hat I will wear a green willow," which was a token of remembering your lost love. So Joyce refers to both of those, both the old English folk song and the ballad that Peadar Kearney wrote. So again, I'm sure you know this one, and let's give it a go. You can join in the chorus. We start with the chorus on this one. All around my hat I wear a tricoloured ribbon, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me the reason why I'm wearing it, it's all for my true love I ne'er more shall see. I had a true love, if ever a girl had one. I had a true love, a brave story, the last whispered message he sent on to me. I was true to my landlove, I fought for her glory, and gave up my life for to make Ireland free. So all around my hat I wear a tricolour ribbon, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me the reason why I'm wearing it, it's all for my own true love I never more shall see. So all around my hat I wear a tricolour ribbon, all around my hat until death comes to me. And if anybody's asking me the reason why I'm wearing it, it's all for my own true love I never more shall see. Another contemporary of James Joyce, so he would have been a bit older, was Percy French. And in our previous Fireside Singalongs we've talked about Percy French because it's 100 years this year since Percy French died. And Percy French's songs, of course, were very popular at parties, and people found them as party pieces. And it's very fitting, this one is actually about a party. And this was one that Joyce liked to sing, and it was celebrated what was called a rent party. So if you were broke, you gathered a few friends in and you got them to contribute, and they you had a bit of money then to pay the rent. So the difficulties in paying the rent would not have been unknown to James Joyce or his family, so it's actually quite pertinent. So this one's called Fill the Fluter's Ball. Have you heard of Phil the Fluter from the town of Ballymonk? The times were going hard for him, and half back the man was broke, so he sent an invitation to his neighbours one and all. How he'd like their company that evening at the ball. But when getting out he was careful to suggest to them that if they found a hat of his convenient to the door, the more they put in whatever he requested, then the better would the music be for battling the floor.
With the suit
On the flute and the twiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the bridle, up and down, hands around, across to the wall. Sure hadn't be the gaiety, it filled the fluter's ball. First little Mickey Mulligan gets up to show them how, and then the widow Cafferty steps out to take a bow. But dancing off your feet, so she, as I'm sure as you were born, if you'll only may the piper play the harpers and the corn. So Phil plays up to the best of his ability. The ladies and the gentlemen begin to do their share. Faith then Mick gets you that has a gypsy bigger and Mrs. Cafferty are left like a hare with the toot on the flute and the twiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle, up and down, hands around, across to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety, it filled the fluter's ball. With a toot on the flute and the fiddle on the fiddle, hopping in the middle like a heron on the griddle, up and down, hands around, across to the wall. Oh, hadn't we the gaiety, it filled the fluter's ball. Now, James Joyce's father was a Cork man. He was a Cork man, great singer, wit, raconteur. He also, unfortunately, with his extravagance and his other lifestyle attributes, he brought his family into near destitution later in his life. But he came from Cork and he had a large repertoire of songs. This is one with a Cork connection. And it comes into the book Stephen Hero and also in Finnegans Wake, and it's also known that James Joyce's daughter Lucia was known to sing this at parties. It's called I Know My Love. I know my love by his way of walking, and I know my love by his way of talking, and I know my love in his suit of blue. And if my love leaves me, what will I do? And still
cried, I love him the best, and a troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, my boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do?
There is a dance hall in Paradise, and it's there my true love goes every night, and he takes a strange lassie on his knee, and don't you know that this vexes me?
And still she cried, I love him the best, and a troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, my boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do?
If my love knew I could wash and bring, and if my love knew I could weave and spin, I would make my love. But his kindness kind, and the want of money sure leaves me behind.
And still she cried, I love him the best, and the troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, my boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do? And still she cried, I love him the best, and the troubled mind sure can know no rest. And still she cried, my boys are few, and if my love leaves me, what will I do?
We mentioned the songs of Thomas Moore earlier on, and the fondness that the Joyce family had for the music of Thomas Moore. This is another one of Thomas Moore's melodies, and I'm pretty certain you learned this one at school. And it features in Ulysses, in the Sirens chapter of Ulysses. Now that's the chapter in Ulysses that has the most music in it. It's set in the Ormond Hotel on Ormond Quay in Dublin, and it's kind of almost a concert from start to finish, and this is one of the songs that's mentioned in that. It's called The Minstrel Boy.
Minstrel boy to the war has gone, in the ranks of death you will find him. His father's sword he has girded on, and his white heart song behind him. Land of song, said the warrior born, though all the world betray thee, one sword at least thy rights shall guard, one faithful harp shall praise thee. Minstrel fell, but the bowman's chain could not bring his prowess so under. The harp he loved ne'er spoke again, for he tore its chords asunder, and said, no chain shall sully thee, the song of love and bravery. My songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery. My songs were made for the pure and free, they shall never sound in slavery.
Well, we've come to the end of today's Fireside Sing-Along. I hope you've enjoyed a slightly different Fireside Sing-Along today. We moved from the kitchen into the drawing room, and we're in very civilised company. So we're going to finish now with probably one of the best known of the songs that are associated with James Joyce, and most Joycean gatherings will finish the evening with this song. It features in Ulysses in several different places, and it was also sung by James Joyce himself, probably his parents. That's where he learned a lot of these songs from. I put in a word for James Joyce's mother here, because his father was quite well known for being a singer, for being a wit, raconteur, whatever. His mother, because she was raising 10 of her surviving 17 children, didn't really have much time in later years for singing and playing, but she was an accomplished pianist. She was a singer as well, so he would have got a lot of his songs from both parents. So we're going to finish with this one. It's called Love's Old Sweet Song, or sometimes known as Just a Song at Twilight. Thanks for joining us today. Spread the word. In normal times, the Rising Voices Choir meets in Odenswood Daycare Centre in Finglas. We just meet on video at the moment. Spread the word. Anybody is welcome to join us and spread these sessions around. And hopefully I see you again soon with another video.
Once in the dear dead days beyond recall, when on the world the mist began to fall, out of the dreams that rose in heavy throng, oh, to our hearts of song an old sweet song. And in the dusk where fell the firelight's gleam, softly it wove itself into our dream. Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low, and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's old song, comes love's old sweet song. Even today we hear love song of yore. Deep in our hearts it dwells forevermore. Footsteps may falter, weary grow away, still we can hear it at the close of day. So till the end, when life's dim shadows fall, love will be found the sweetest song of all. Just a song at twilight, when the lights are low, and the flickering shadows softly come and go. Though the heart be weary, sad the day and long, still to us at twilight comes love's old song, comes love's old sweet song.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and until the next video, hold firm, stay safe, and spread the word.